guys, don't watch this video until you've watched the timeline review video that tells you how to do all of this. What you're going to see over the next month is pieces of an outdoor timeline that we did about 2 or 3 years ago. And I've edited it so that you're going to watch just a short video, like anywhere from 3 to 7 minutes long at the most for each unit that we do. So I've edited it down. When this is all done, you can watch the whole thing together if you want to. So what you're about to watch right now is just the very beginning, from even pre-Columbus to 1763. So, hope you enjoy it. Again, this shouldn't be very long. Here we go for that timeline. Good luck. Again, be quiet, please. Kind of spread out too. You want to pause it while I wait. Back there. Okay. Riley, can you hear me? Yeah. Now, you're not really going to get tested on this time period, but this time period sets the entire story up. If you were looking carefully, you should have noticed 2 things. You should have noticed, number 1, Martin Luther. For those of you who learned your world history, you should realize, oh yeah, that's this. You are standing in the Reformation right now. This is what makes America, America more than anything else, is the fact that we know that so many of our ancestors left because of religious freedom. Right? The Puritans, the Pilgrims, the Quakers, and all the others. They didn't necessarily leave where you're standing, but that's where the fight began. And that's why you can't hurt to review your world history just a little bit. Review that Reformation just a little bit. What exactly were they complaining about? I know basically it was the Protestants versus the Catholics. Okay? So this, of course, is a major part of who we are as a people, our idea of religious freedom. And that's where it starts, right where Dakota's standing, right about there. Okay? Now the other thing you should have noticed, or rather not noticed, is no English. If you were looking carefully, you saw the Spanish, you saw the Portuguese. You know they've settled in Florida, up in North America, right? But you didn't see the English. That's because this has to happen. This, of course, is European history. This is world history, but it's our history. We all know that the very, very first name for what we will eventually live in is what? Thank you, somebody said it. Virginia. The English queen who wins the Battle of the Spanish Armada. This is a massive, massive turning point. Okay? So again, you don't have to study all about it, but hopefully you've heard of the Spanish Armada. This is what's going to allow the English to then settle there, to settle in Virginia. Our story just, don't move yet, but just as you turn the corner, you're going to notice Jamestown and how close it is to the defeat of the Spanish Armada. You'll notice that, yeah, hopefully you know, Queen Elizabeth, the Virgin Queen, Virginia. It's obviously the end of her dynasty, so we go to a new dynasty now after her. King James, right? And again, all of the various names are all, you got to know some English history. Carolina is the French word for Charles, because the kings were Charles. James was King James, as in Jamestown. Virginia is named after Queen Elizabeth. Okay, so you kind of see that. And of course, we've got Englishmen coming, but remember everybody else. And this is one of the things we want to make sure we realize. It's not just English coming to America. Yeah, there's some Spanish. Yeah, there's some Portuguese. There's certainly plenty of Germans. And there's a heck of a lot of African American, or right now we call Africans coming, right? We'll see that. I don't know if you wrote that. We'll look for that on the date, on the timeline. See if you see them. If not, I'll let you know. All right, come on. Let's walk through the colonial times now. This is where your studying really begins in 1607. Okay, 1620, the Pilgrims coming to America is obviously a big one. Don't make the mistake that so many students... See, you're talking, listen to me. Don't make the mistake that so many Americans make and think that the Pilgrims were the first to come. You can see it right there. They came in 1620, 13 years later. They were actually looking for Jamestown, but they were running out of something to drink. Some of you know what that drink is.
Just laugh at Cromwell. It's the party.
Kind of go around a little bit, let more people in. Cromwell's not that important to us. However, any of you know why Cromwell is important to us?
Isn't he like why the Puritans came?
Oh, absolutely. Why is Cromwell important to us? Why is Cromwell important? I dressed appropriately, even the hat. Why is he important to them? No, Barbados, yes. Why is Cromwell important to the people of New England? Oh, it's a good thing we're reviewing them. Okay, just say it out loud. There's too many people to call on. Does anyone know why we should know Cromwell? Oh, he's some, Englishman.
Did he draft up the charter that sent the Puritans?
Cromwell is why the Puritans came to America. The Puritan Revolution is going on during Cromwell's time. Cromwell would have come to America if he had not decided to revolt. And obviously, the Puritan migration is the very first migration that is of any great volume. Keep that in mind, okay? Because remember, one of the themes, did you notice? Theme number 6 is migration. What was the very first big migration? Before the Puritans, it wasn't big of any kind. It wasn't like massive numbers of settlers. They were coming in, groups of 3 ships and things like that, in small fleets. But the Puritan migration was massive. 10, 20,000 people coming across, and all of them settling where? Massachusetts, an Indian name, settling in the city of Boston, the city upon a hill, which is what the nickname was it for. That's why New England will still be, even today, so different from the rest of America. Okay, so that's why you got to know who Cromwell is. And again, as you're starting to turn the corner, you'll notice the Iroquois is basically where Andrew was standing. Remember again the relationship between the Iroquois and the Huron and the French and how that all went, and then how that's going to change when we get closer to the American Revolution. Let's keep going. Ooh, let's stop right here. Okay, don't stand on the Glorious Revolution. This is a big one. Our political history. Our Constitution begins right here. For those of you who remember the nursery rhyme, Rockabye Baby, this is where it happens. This is when the English Bill of Rights was written, during the Glorious Revolution. And again, we're not going to get asked about the Glorious Revolution, but you certainly would impress the grader if you knew about it. If you know that our Bill of Rights is derived from the English Bill of Rights. This is where you can see the story begin, right here. As again, Englishmen are leaving. Remember, this guy's grandfather, Thomas Jefferson's grandfather, all of them are coming from this England, the England that's fighting for its rights. So English history, again, is important. Oh, I like how that... Yeah, I actually would agree with that. If you guys can stand against the fence there, a little of you, except Cameron who's filming. By the way, I'm having her film not because I have some kind of complex. I'm hoping to be able to put this up on YouTube for the people who couldn't make it. So that's another reason why if you're recording what's on the ground too. Racism was invented. Let's remember that. That where you guys are standing, an African was no different than a European. He served his 7 years as an indentured servant, and he was free. But we all know, right, I hope, right around the 1680s, especially as Virginians and in the Carolinians, especially South Carolina, the worst slavery, right, as they started to realize, man, I'm losing a lot of money, I could make a lot more money if I could keep these guys, that they start passing laws. So that by the time I get to right about here, by about 1700, slavery is now not only for life, but you own the children. It's an incredibly profitable. Slavery is by far the biggest issue that we're still dealing with. Right? Okay, keep coming. See how long Ben Franklin's been around for? Hopefully you remember he wrote Poor Richard's Almanac. Notice the date of it, right? Well, remember how fun Ben Franklin is, all the stuff he invented, a fire department, a library, a postman, all this other kind of stuff. All right, this is good, another good place to stop. Now what we're starting to get into here. You notice right about where Freya is standing, I believe it says the Huron. Remember another pattern that the Europeans have towards the Indians. They have all of these, so many Indian nations. Some don't get along with one another. So you make friends with one against the other, and then when the other is by himself, then you get rid of him. That's exactly what's going to happen to the Iroquois during this French and Indian War. The Iroquois will ally with the English. The English and the Iroquois will go against the French and the Huron. Once the Huron and the French are gone after the end of this war, then the Iroquois are alone. And hopefully you know that once the American Revolution gets started, the Iroquois will make the mistake of not only taking mainly the side of the British, but even taking different sides. Their entire nation will get split up, and off they go. But some other things you're going to see right about here. This time period is really when our revolution starts.